Tonight, former President Trump is attacking the Justice Department again after revealing that he is the target of the special counsel's election probe. This is him in Iowa earlier tonight.
They go after Trump, but they don't go after terrorists, right? They should give a little of that oomph to going after the terrorists.
Maggie Haberman, a senior political correspondent for the New York Times, joins me now. I mean, to hear him saying that, I don't think is surprising. It came pretty unprompted. He's at this Elks Lodge event in Cedar Rapids, and he just started talking about it. I mean, what's your sense from your reporting about what his reaction to this was privately?
So he was, for somebody who's not great at keeping other people's secrets, he can be very good at keeping his own. And he was not especially chatty with people in his circle about this over the last 2 days. He ended up putting it out because they got a news inquiry about it, and he was trying to get ahead of it because, as we have seen with his previous 2 indictments, this is not yet an indictment, but it's a likely one. He wanted to control the narrative, and so that's what he did here. I heard he was somewhat cranky on his way to Iowa today, but it was basically a normal plane ride. He's obviously not happy, and he is facing, Caitlin, and he knows this, these are significant charges potentially, in January 6th, in the documents case, potentially in Georgia as well, with serious jail time. And he knows this. And so that is weighing on him very seriously.
Yeah, and I mean, he's complaining in this town hall he did with Sean Hannity that he got the letter on a Sunday night. Tim Parlatore was saying that he thinks it's more showy than it is substantive. But I mean, they're essentially giving him 4 days if he wants to come before the grand jury on Thursday. Not likely he's going to do that, though.
No, they're going to decline that offer, is what our reporting is. And I understand what Parlatore is saying about it being showy. It's unusual to get a target letter on a Sunday, so much so that I had to fact check that Trump was correct, because, as you know, Trump is not always the best source about Trump. But it is true. That is when the letter came to his lawyers. It is in your face by the Justice Department, but I don't think they're doing it to be showy. I think they're doing it to show that they don't really care the games that Trump is playing.
And this is obviously around January 6th, his efforts to overturn the election, which is something you noted today. He's whitewashed. I mean, he's never felt that January 6th was what most people believed it was. But I mean, he said he would pardon the rioters. He recorded a song with them. He said these were peaceful people. These were great people. I mean, this is something that his base buys into. They're confronting people like Mike Pence about it on the campaign trail.
100%. And he started doing this. I know there is some belief that he's gotten more extreme in the last 2 years. I don't think that's true at all. He's always been the same. It's just that he's much more vocal about what he actually thinks. For the first year out of office, he was off Twitter. He wasn't doing a number of mainstream media interviews. He is much more vocal now and more public. And he had, Truth Social, his social media website, beginning in 2022. So that gave him a platform to say all of these things. And then his rallies, where he started leaning into it much more. And so, yes, he has basically melded this into his campaign and his candidacy. And as you say, his voters, his supporters believe what he says about that day. A number of them, a number of people who I know aren't happy with what happened on January 6th still say things to me like, and these are his supporters, say things to me like, but I don't like what's happening with the people who were arrested. And so you are going to keep hearing that as we go forward.
Yeah. And he had this court date in Florida today. He didn't have to show up for it. His co-defendant, Walt Nauta, did, but he didn't have to be there for it. But I mean, the idea that he missed that because he was in Iowa for this campaign event. Now, if he is going to indeed face charges here, like he says he is, I mean, that's a series of indictments that his attorneys have to deal with. I mean, what's your sense of how they're grappling with all of this?
They're struggling. I mean, they're looking at potentially 4 different jurisdictions: D.C., Florida, New York, Georgia. He's also facing civil trials. There's one in October. There's 2 in January. One is E. Jean Carroll, and one is a pyramid scheme case. It is a maze of legal activity, and it's sort of ironic because Donald Trump is somebody who has, provided a blizzard of legal paperwork against enemies over and over and over. And you're seeing him now have to be on the other side of that. But his lawyers are struggling with the crush of this. I don't think that they feel like it's insurmountable, but it's a lot.
Yeah. And one thing we know that they're looking at with the January 6th investigation is Trump's mindset itself and acknowledging that he lost. What Tim Parlatore was saying there is it's plausible that he believed that he won the election. That could be a defense. But his own aides went and testified, including former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, his former communications director, another former aide who was in the West Wing, all saying he knew he lost.
He says words to the effect of, yeah, we lost. We need to let that issue go to the next guy, meaning President Biden.
He said, "Can you believe I lost to this effing guy?"
Mark raised it with me on the 18th, and I said, does the president really think that he lost? And he said, a lot of times he'll tell me that he lost, but he wants to keep fighting it.
With all the people, that's who went before the congressional committee. With all the people who have gone before Jack Smith, who do you think he's the most worried about?
I would suspect all of them, frankly, but I think that Mark Meadows being interviewed before a grand jury, as we understand that he was, I think is something that is of concern to him. I think that Meadows knows more than almost anyone. Now, we don't know exactly what Meadows said. We don't know what he was asked. We don't know, the extent of his involvement. And I think it's also important to note that just because somebody cooperates with an investigation doesn't mean cooperator in the way people think of it.
Yeah.
But I think that Mark Meadows is the person he is the most concerned about.
And they don't seem to have a good indication of what Mark Meadows has said. It seems it's been pretty quiet for most of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of guessing going on in that world about Meadows. There's been a lot of suspicion about Meadows for some time now. It's been months and months and months. I expect that's going to continue as we move forward. It's going to become clear, a lot of this, Caitlin, who talked. It's going to become clearer to him who talked. We know that he has this 84-person witness list in the documents case. If he is charged in this case, which is not a definite, by the way, it's not a done deal, but it is likely with a target letter. If he is charged by Jack Smith in something connection with January 6th, it will eventually become apparent to him who among his aides and in his world was talking, and that always becomes a different set of anxiety for him.